Hello from Leeds in West Yorkshire and welcome back to the next instalment of the A to Z of Yorkshire, and today we're heading to Station G, so let's go!
Welcome aboard this Northern Service to Markham. The next station stop is Shipley.
So G is for Gargrave in North Yorkshire on the Benton line, just one stop north of Skipton, where we've obviously left the other electric lines of the Airedale line, and now on the Benton line heading towards Morecambe and Carlisle. So how did Gargrave come to exist? Well, let's find out. Gargrave Station opened on the 30th of July 1849 by the Little North Western Railway, which later became part of the Midland Railway. But before going any further, the reason why this company was called the Little North Western Railway was to differentiate itself from the London and North Western Railway. No, not the current day London and North Western Railway, the pre-1923 London and North Western Railway. If you're not confused, I'm just as confused. But there we go. That's how complicated the railways are in the UK. So before we go any further, I think I should actually explain the complicated line names that this line has. Because yes, it's called the Benton line, but it also shares this line with two others. So I should probably explain that, because it's quite complicated before we go any further. So I've just come down to this lovely little weird staggered section of Gargrave Station with just a beautiful view of the countryside, which is quite nice, something different for once. So as I mentioned on the other platform, I'm just going to quickly explain the line situation on this line, because I did mention it's called the Benton line, but it shares its name with two other lines, the Airedale line and the Settle and Carlisle line. So as you come out of Leeds heading northwest, you would find the Airedale line, which runs between Leeds and Skipton and goes via Shipley, which was opened in 1846 as far as Shipley, then through to Skipton in 1847, which is known as the Airedale line, and I did cover that in the first episode of the A to Z Yorkshire at Station A. Then came the Benton line, which opened in 1849, I believe, and that runs from Skipton and only went as far as Clapham before then being extended through to Lancaster the following year in June 1850, which is the Benton line. Then came the Settle and Carlisle line, which runs from just, I believe it's one stop after Hellyfield, or is it Long-Preston? I think it's after Long-Preston where it branches off and goes through Settle, then all the way up towards Carlisle, which is the Settle and Carlisle line, which opened, I believe, in August 1875 to freight traffic and then to passenger traffic in April 1876. Bear in mind, there's a lot of dates here, which is the Settle and Carlisle line. So if you go online and you look at maps and stuff, you'll find the Airedale line, which is Skipton through to Leeds. Then you'll find the Benton line, which also runs through the Airedale line, but continues onwards towards Lancaster. Then the Settle and Carlisle line, which runs through the Airedale, Benton, and then goes through the Settle and Carlisle line. It's all rather confusing. So I just thought I'd mention that because it's quite interesting. In terms of history at this station, there's not really much to talk about history-wise. There are some beautiful, lovely little waiting shelters which I'll cover in the station essentials. There is also an old station house literally on the, what platform are we on? I'd say it's the, let me work out my geography. I'd say it's the southbound, southeastish bound platform. That's the, I believe it's the original station house, but there is also one on the northwestish bound platform as well, but they're now private houses. So it's quite nice to see that we retain beautiful stuff. And I'll admit, it's really nice. And to be honest, it's my first time coming up here, so I'm going to shut up wittering because I'm just blah, 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 and you're all getting fed up of listening to witter on. So I think I'm going to end up there and talk about the rather interesting station frequencies that this station gets. So Gargrave has two platforms and it has a very interesting station frequency of maybe every 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, every 2 hours, and then every hour, maybe half an hour. It's got a really weird time frequencies because some trains don't stop here, I believe on the Settling Carroll line. But yeah, it gets an interesting frequency. But to keep it sweet and simple, it gets around 16 trains heading north a day and 15 heading south. With some trains terminating at Skipton at the end of the day. The station is mainly served by the Class 185 diesel multiple units. Hang on a minute, it's not the 185s at service line, it's actually the 158s at service line. Even though it'd be quite nice to actually have 185s from this line, but yeah, I just thought I would just quickly interlude and say that I actually did say that wrong. So anyway, back to what I was saying. We did used to have maybe 150s and pacer trains on this line, but they've all gone, so it's mainly the 158s at service station. The platforms can cater for 4-car 158, which is pretty long, but sometimes they do run 6-car units as well, which is quite interesting. So, yeah. But also I should mention that this line sees something very interesting happen on it only on a Sunday evening. And that is a northern train from Carlisle to Nottingham via Leeds and Sheffield, which is by far the longest train you can ride on the northern network. Pretty much nearly from the northernmost to southernmost in just one train, but that train only runs on a Sunday afternoon and it takes you like maybe 5-6 hours to do that journey. So if anyone has done that journey, do let me know and how you didn't go sailing on that journey. But yeah, it's quite a long journey. And I believe it's still saying in the timetable change in December, so that's something unique about this line as well. So I think that's really it for the wacky station frequencies and other random frequency stuff. So I think it's time to move on to the station essentials here at Gargrave. So before we go any further, I'm going to try and be quick with this because it does look like it could absolutely pee it down with rain, so I'm going to be quite quick on this. And secondly, I have just missed that train, so if I'm wanting to head back to Leeds, I've now got to wait until 10 to 2, so nearly 2 hours. Yeah, I mentioned the frequency is not brilliant here, but it does have a passenger information screen with appear announcements. It has station lighting, which is good to see. It has an information board but no timetable. I believe that might be somewhere else, but we'll find where that is. It actually also has a little waiting shelter, so I think we should head in there and check out what's in there. It has a lovely bench. It's quite comfortable, it's a bench, and to be truthful, I wouldn't mind sitting here for a while. It has a bin in the corner, a station light, a little light in here, so at least if it's the winter, at least you can actually see or whatever. It's got a nice little window here as well, which you can sort of see the edge of the platform, and I think it's like a builder's yard that's next to the station. Behind you, we'll just go to some B-roll and be showing you what's behind you. You've got some community timetables and bus timetables and stuff, and just general community stuff, which is really nice to see in advertisements. So I think that's really it for this shelter. I think the shelter on the other platform is a lot nicer than this. So when we head over there, I will show you that. So I think I should head back out there and see what else is there on this platform. So let's go. So the station has beautiful station houses, as I mentioned earlier, which is really nice to see, and it's got some beautiful plant pots as well. It also has a Northern Network map and the timetable, which I also mentioned earlier. There is also one on the other platform as well, so I'll just cut to some B-roll showing the ones on the other platform. I believe it's just more advertisement on the other platform, but yeah, it does have some of that. But quickly, before we head off this platform onto the other platform, I'm just going to quickly show you something behind you, which is actually quite interesting. So before we go any further, and it feels like it could rain, so I'm going to be very quick with this. You might notice if you look carefully, it actually says 2 or 3 car 14X and 2 car 15X. So it's quite obvious that Pacer trains and Class 150s used to run down here, but I think as well 15X can run down here. But yeah, there's still some visible signs of the Pacers that, for the worse or for better, they're gone now, thank God. Anyway, before we change platforms and talk about what's over there, and actually, I'll tell Pocket there's some stuff down there, so I'll tell you about that in a minute. But this bit's quite interesting. The platform dips from I'd say the national standard height down a little bit, and it sort of goes underneath the actual viaduct. And do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Farringdon Station in London, where you can walk between, I think it's the London Underground section and the Thames Link section where the Elizabeth line is. It reminds me of that little viaduct there, which is quite nice actually. It's quite rare you see platform bits that walk down here. But before we head over to the other platform, I'm going to actually head down there, because actually I've got to mention, I think something special might be passing through the station. So if it actually passes through, I will cut some B-roll of that now. But anyway, let's look up there and I'll actually show you what else there is here. And you probably can't see me, to be honest, because I've walked a bit too far. So let's head down here. So Gargrave has a parcel locker, an in-post one, which is a parcel locker. And that's a bit colder, I forgot that's been a while since I've jumped that, but it has a bin. I believe there's one here, but there's not many bins, but it's a bin. So let's just check the functionality of it, and yep, it functions. I just had to check what time it was there, because something special is passing through, and I've already just mentioned it. So the bins do function, and it has useful northern information, which is bog standard. So I think let's actually wait for this really cool thing to pass through. Well, it's not every day you see old train carriages pass through Gargrave. Yeah, it does also have traffic this line, so that's the really cool thing I wanted to show, and it actually came in a bit earlier, so that's really great. I'm going to head over there and we'll continue the station facilities bingo. No, it's not the station, let's just go. Gargrave also has a car park-ish, it's more of a rubble car park. Also, one thing quickly to mention before we go over to the other platform, the southbound platform is the only bit of Gargrave that is actually step-free. The other platform has steps and there's no other step-free way, so this is the only step-free option if you come into Gargrave, is if you're heading southbound, so not particularly great. Let's head over. Okay, actually, I might be wrong. This seems to be the actual station car park. I think there's sort of parking on both sides, but I think this is more the official station car park. Oh dear, that's not particularly professional, but I've only just realised that. But hey, sometimes you don't realise stuff until you get to the actual place. But yeah, this is the actual station car park. So I said I want to the other platform. I hope I don't get anything else wrong. So one thing I did forget to mention is the actual only way to change platform is by coming over this road with no path. So do be very careful if you do come to the station and change platforms, because it's not particularly safe. And I just realised the parking situation, which we'll talk about. So anyway, let's head down these stairs onto the northbound platform and check out what facilities are on the northbound platform. So Gargrave has a very nice, beautiful handrail, but don't touch the white, but that's a bit dangerous. But it's got a nice, beautiful white staircase and onto the northbound platform. But we're not going to question the fact it has a very weird side bit where you can walk down, but probably won't recommend it. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's actually covering up some red paint, I think, I believe, some original red paint, potentially, from the Lancashire Yorkshire Railway, potentially. No, it's not the Lancashire Yorkshire Railway, but it was at one stage the Lancashire Yorkshire Railway, which is actually quite interesting. On this side is just a onward travel information board, but I think the real good stuff's on the platform, so let's head on there. So on the northbound platform there is a bin and a interesting station mural, which can't really question the station mural, but I'll put some beer on the screen of it. But it's a I'm not going to say anything else more, but it has got a bin. It's got a little poster panel here. We're talking about the history of Gargrave Station. Which, to be honest, I didn't know this were here, so I'm just going to put some B-roll on screen, and if you do want to read that, you're welcome to do so, or I might do some B-roll over the top of it. It has obviously station signage. I don't know if I've mentioned it already. Passing information screen up here on this platform, just some advertisements. But this is the first for, I think, the Z of Yorkshire Station Essentials bingo list. There's a bus stop holder with bus timetables on the train platform. Why does this remind me? I don't know why I'm getting the images of the Stour Bridge shuttle that runs down in the West Midlands, which is basically a bus on wheels, but I'm not going to talk about that. And also the fact that places were available, so I don't know, it's a bit weird. Anyway, there's a beautiful, lovely waiting shelter with actual beautiful windows, and obviously there's plant pots as well. I think we should head into the shelter because there isn't really much else on the platform. There's just another advertisement board and yeah, not really much on this platform, so let's head into the shelter and check out what's in there. So this is actually in terms of shelters, this is the cathedral of all shelters. It's absolutely beautiful. It's got a beautiful wooden bench. Feels like I'm at church here. It feels that nice, but it's got some beautiful paned windows that are actually not damaged or broken. It's obviously got station lighting, and there's a bin in here as well. If I'm going to be truthfully honest, I think this is, if I had to wait here for 2 hours, which you can end up doing, I actually wouldn't mind waiting here 2 hours. It's actually really, really nice. It's a lot better than the shelter on the other platform, I'll give you that, but I think that's really it for station facilities here at Gargrave. Oh, I should also mention the irony that online, and on a lot of websites, it says this station actually has a ticket machine. But in the real truth, it doesn't have a ticket machine. So just consider that if you do come here, because it says it has a ticket machine. I could be very wrong in saying that, but there isn't a ticket machine here. So, yeah, I think Northern, come on, get some ticket machines installed here at Gargrave, and then I don't think we'll have an issue. And obviously, because there's no ticket machine, there is no help point which is built into the ticket machine. There's also no payphone, so you can't actually contact for help or assistance. So, yeah, not particularly the most ideal situation to be, but yeah, it's quite nice on the road, quite nice. I have just noticed we seem to be going through a bit of a trend of visiting a lot of remote stations, but this is one thing I'm going to quickly mention in the Z of Yorkshire, but we don't need to be going to all the big city stations like Bradford, Leeds, Wakefield, Barnsley, Sheffield. Yes, we might start the video at these stations, but we might not be filming about them stations because they're busy stations, big stations. There's a lot of history of them, but you know what I mean, they're well known. Unlike some of the stations such as Station B, Station C, D, E, F and obviously G. I'm not saying what station names they are because I don't want to ruin it and be surprised if you haven't watched the series. So if you haven't watched the series, there's a playlist on the channel as well, so if you want to go and watch it from the site, you're welcome to do so. But you know what, I truly enjoy making these because I get to go to stations that, to be truthfully honest, I wouldn't have even thought about going to, or you probably might not have been even thinking about going to, but I think it's just nice to explore different elements of Yorkshire and look at the stations that sort of underlooked. So enough of me wittering and ranting. I feel like I'm just ranted all episode, so I do apologise for that. I very rarely do it, but hey-ho. So I think actually this is probably the best point to end the episode here. So that is it for Station G of the A to Z of Yorkshire. And, well, until the next time, until the next station, which is Station H, and... Oh god, I realised that. Okay. I'm not going to give too much away, but I just realised it's going to be a bit tricky to get to Station H. It's just about as tricky as it was to Station E. So you might have a weird intro at the next station, which is Station H. I'm just wittering here. So until the next episode, thank you for watching Z of Yorkshire. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if there's anything I've missed or you just want to say some random stuff in the comments, say some random stuff in the comments. So from here at Gargrave in North Yorkshire, until the next episode, see you later.